everybody, this is Tracy here for another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to recap Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 10, Episode 6, which was titled All Aboard the Shady Express. So the episode kicks off with the finale of Nene and Portia and what has been termed the bun fight on social media. So y'all remember when Nene got doing that neck roll and that bun started unrolling on top of her head and Marlo had to jump in and fix it up for her. So Nene is pulling away by the rest of the gals, you know, who all was it? Sheree, Cynthia, and Marlo. They were all pulling her away, and that left Sheree to stay at the table with Portia. So Nene says that Portia started this SHIT, and if it wasn't for her, Portia wouldn't even still be on the show. And so, you know, we get this whole thing about when they had that reunion show and Portia and Kenya got into the fight. And Nene claims that, you know, she went to bat for Portia so that they wouldn't fire Portia after that whole ordeal. So Portia needs to be a little more grateful. And so now we know that Nene is one of the people that if she ever do anything nice for you, you are forever indebted to her. So the elevator closed as Nene was saying that the door is closed on our friendship. And so y'all remember Candy liked to eat, and Candy was upset that they had to wait 2 hours for dinner when they could have just got off the checked into the hotel and had dinner. Well, Candy was still hungry and she was still upset that they didn't even get a chance to eat, that the fight broke out before she had anything to eat. And I think Marlo did suggest that they go get some pizza so Candy could be okay. But down at the restaurant, you know, Sheree is holding Portia, you know, as Portia starts to cry. And Sheree, you know, she can feel that the whole trip is slipping away. But what did she think? Like, what did she think was going to happen? Especially when she was the one that said that Portia and Nene needed to talk things out. Like, Sheree, this trip was supposed to be about you relaxing and reflecting over life so you can go back home and talk to your kids about your domestic violence situation. So you created this drama. But anyway, you know, scene kept cutting back and forth between Nene and the rest of the girls. But back downstairs, Portia feels like she's being ganged up on, which she is. And she vents to Sheree and says that it was wrong for Nene to say that she would remove her and Phaedra from the show when she was on Watch What Happens Live. Don't know why this is like third episode that has come up. So can we please put it to rest? You know, but Nene says that she didn't come out and say that Portia should be fired. You said freaking Frack should be gone. And who is Frick and Frack but Portia and Phaedra? So Nene, let it go. So Portia adds that she has never came for Nene on Dish Nation and that Kenya is the one who is telling Nene that she has been shady on the show. So Kenya, you need to mind your own business. So Portia tells Sheree that Nene has turned on everyone on the cast. That she done turned on Sheree and she done turned on Marlo too. So why are they all on the Nene bandwagon? And so she also feels like Nene only cares about her falling out with Candy just to be spiteful. It's not like she even cares about the whole situation. And she says that Nene wants to make Candy's issue her issue, but she really needs to just mind her business. So Portia's convinced that people are ganging up on her just for being herself, being beautiful and happy and flighty and all the great things about Portia. So she ends up talking to her mom on the phone and telling her mom, you know, exactly what happened with Nene. And so Miss Diane says that it's not cool that a 50-year-old woman would go off on someone that she used to call her little sister. And you're right about that, Miss Diane. So in her confessional, Candy admits that she's happy that she's not the only one who has beef with Portia. And Kenya says that Portia needs to wake up and see that at one point in time that she had the support of all the ladies in the group. So I guess she needs to look at herself and ask, what have I done that everybody has turned against me? So the following morning, Cynthia goes to pick up Marlo and Sheree, and then Marlo has laid out all, I think she went to their hotel room, and Marlo done laid out all these accessories and all this jewelry in the hotel room. And I'm like, how long were y'all going to be there? I thought this was a weekend trip. And then, Marlo, what do you do with all that stuff when you leave the room to ensure that the maids and stuff that come in the room don't steal your stuff? Like, is it all necessary? And have I ever mentioned to you guys that Marlo is actually from St. Petersburg, where I live, and that she went to high school with some of my cousins and my cousins' friends and stuff? So, I don't know, what does Marlo do in Atlanta? Like, what is her job other than working towards getting a peach on the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Does anybody know? So, they're all, later on, you know, after breakfast and everything, they're all piling into a trolley and to go around the city and tour the city and everything. So, they decide to split up to avoid getting into any more cat fights. And half of the group, go to the Fisherman's Wharf, and the other half decide to go to Chinatown. And of course, Nene and Portia are not speaking at this point. But this is where I stick a pin and tell you guys about my trip to San Francisco. So I had went to visit my daughter who lives in Sacramento. So we went to the went to a couple of wineries and everything, and then we went to San Francisco. So my daughter parks the car and she says, oh, we're going to go to the wharf, you know, but, you know, I'm going to take you to Lombard Street. And you guys know Lombard Street is that street that goes, it's like a zigzag street and has like these beautiful flowers and everything. So what my daughter failed to tell me is that we were going to walk miles to get to this Lombard Street. And I swear I love my daughter to death. But that was one day that I really started to question whether my daughter loved me and whether or not she was trying to kill me for the insurance money. Because when I tell y'all, we had to walk up, 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 up. I swear we were walking straight up. And if you've ever been to San Francisco, you know it's like a lot of hills and everything. So we were walking up, walking up. I think we walked like 40 blocks. And I'm telling you, for the first time in my life, I really felt that I was about to have a heart attack. My heart was like boom, boom, boom. I couldn't catch my breath. I'm stopping to sit on little planters because it was like a lot of townhouses as we were going up, and they would have like these little decorative planters around trees. And I was sitting out there and I was just like, Morgan, I don't know if I can make it. I think I'm going to die, girl. I feel like I'm about to have a heart attack. And as soon as I calm down, you know, she's like, okay, mama, you think you can go? Then I walk about 2 more blocks, my heart like boom, boom, boom. And then at one point she had gotten some water. She got me some water. I was feeling a little better. So we finally made it to this little Lombard thing. And then I realized that Lombard doesn't go up. It's a zigzag street that takes you back down. So you don't walk up this straight hill and then you do the zigzag thing to go back down to the bottom of the hill. And I was just like, oh my God. But they did have like some stairs on the side of the roads where you could like walk down the stairs. So we walked down the stairs. We ended up having to walk going north, I think it was. I'm not sure about what the directions was, but we had to walk towards the wharf. And we ended up stopping at, it was like a community college or something, but it had like some stores. And so she had asked this lady, you know, how do we get in the bathroom? And the lady looked at me and she said, well, only the employees have keys to the bathroom. But that lady probably thought I was about to die, so she gave us the key. So I went to the bathroom, you know, cooled down with some water. My daughter went and got me some cold water. We sat there, drank the water. I collected myself. So then we go and we walk to the wharf. We finally get to the wharf, and she wanted to take me to this restaurant. So first she said, oh, Mom, do you want to go to Alcatraz? But it was like the Alcatraz tour is like a 3-hour tour because you have to take a bus out to the prison and then take the bus back. So it wasn't a situation where you don't walk around the prison and you come on back home. You got to do this whole tour. So I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So she had been telling me about this restaurant and how she want to take me to this restaurant. So I'm all thinking, okay, well, I'm about dead out here. I'm hungry. Like, okay, let's go to the restaurant. So the blocks were numbered by piers, and I think we were on pier 75 at this point. So we get to walking and walking and walking and walking and walking and walking and walking some more. And we done went from Pier 75 to Pier 55, from Pier 55 to Pier 45. And so I'm like, Morgan, do you know where the restaurant is? And so she's like, I think we're almost there. So I was like, oh my God, she think we almost there? So we get down, I think we walked by another 10 blocks. So now we down to about Pier 30 something. We stop at this restaurant. So she's looking at the menu. And you just have to know my daughter. My daughter just has this, I don't know, it's just something about her demeanor that's so innocent on one side. And then on the other side, she just be looking confused sometimes. And so she got that confused look on her face. So I go and I sit down, and so then I asked her, I said, well, Morgan, you said that you had been to this place before, you loved it. Like, why are you not sure that this is the restaurant? So then she said, well, I think this is it. I said, even if you don't remember the name, like it had to be a dish that you really loved, and you're looking at the menu, like something should be, a light should be coming on. So it was so hot out there. So I went, and on the side of the building, it was some shade, and I sat down. So that her feelings hurt. So she comes around there, and so she was like, well, do you want to go in and eat, or do you want to leave? I was like, girl, at this point, I don't care what we do. So she got mad and called the Uber, and the Uber came and took us back to the car. So that was like the end of the trip. I was so done with her, and she was so done with me. But anyway, back to the recap. Just, you know, I like to share these little stories with you. So on the excursion to, I think, Alcatraz, Nene, Candy, and Cynthia, you know, they're posing in front of the prison. And Nene just happens to bring up that Sheree's new boyfriend stole over $4 million from some company. I don't know if it was his company or another company, but he was an embezzler. And it was just so random. Like, she just, it was just like somebody hit the little clapboard and say, okay, Nene, tell the story about Sheree. And I was just like, that's so messy, Nene. So then with the other group, Sheree, Portia, and Marlo, they go into Chinatown, and Portia had another Portia moment. Portia said, oh, I love Chinatown. It's just like Tokyo. If y'all don't get Portia in the geography class. So, you know, at this point, you know, Portia be making them gaffes, and we don't even give too much attention anymore. So they decide to throw Kenya a fake wedding. So they say since they weren't invited to the real wedding, and everybody seemed to be upset that they wasn't invited either, that they would just throw Kenya a wedding themselves. So they go back to the hotel and get one of the conference rooms. And so they buy a whole bunch of junk from the dollar store somewhere. And they had a banner made that said, congratulations, Kenya. So when they're all back at the hotel, you know, oh, they had purchased this cardboard cutout of a man to stand in on the wedding. And then Portia was supposed to have been holding up the man. And then they decided they needed some guests. So they done went out and rounded up a whole bunch of gay people. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm kind of tired of the gay people being used as props on these reality shows. Like, everybody got to have a gay friend. Everybody, you know, got to have a party and invite all the gay people in. Now we having a fake wedding, and we done went and got all the gay people because they say that Kenya is a friend of the gay community. And I mean, these people came in there looking like they had just rounded them up off the street. One guy had on like a midriff tank top with some lowrider straight jeans, skinny jeans, and it was just looking a hot mess. And I just wish that the gay people union would get together and tell them if they're not going to show the gay people in a more positive light, then they can't be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta or any other reality show anymore. So everything comes together, and then Cynthia, Nene, I think Nene called Cynthia and told Cynthia, you know, they were down in the conference room and to come on down. So Nene was a good sport about it, even though they thought that, you know, remember when when Kenya threw Phaedra the divorce party and it kind of went left. So they were a little concerned, but Kenya said that, you know, she would be a good sport. And it may be because this is the only wedding that Kenya has ever really had. But Cynthia was appointed, like I said, to bring Kenya down. And so they all have a good laugh. Nene officiates the wedding, and Candy sings, Here Comes the Bride, but she must be can only say like those 4 words because she just kept saying, "Here comes the bride." And so the whole thing, you know, it was funny. And then Portia, for some reason, dropped the doggone cardboard man. And Candy said, "Can you have?" And then Candy said, Portia had one role. One job to do, and she couldn't even do that job right. So at the end of the evening, Portia decides to pull Candy aside and apologize for the role that she played in the whole Phaedra situation. And I don't know, Portia, I don't know how many times you're gonna apologize to Candy. I mean, like, say you're sorry and then let her do whatever she gonna do with it, but don't be groveling and begging her to be your friend, because obviously she's not ready to be your friend again, so let it go. So the following day, the ladies decide that they're going to go to Napa Valley. And so after the bus ride, it's time to get on this train. Now, y'all know what happened last time a group of black women got on a train to go on out to Napa. It ended up in a lawsuit with $1 million settlement. So I'm sure there was all kind of disclaimers and disclosures that had to be signed before they let these fools get on that train. But all is well that ends well, I guess. So why did they bring along the fake husband, the cardboard cutout of Kenya's husband? So I say they are so stupid. So Portia, I can't remember if Portia went to the restroom or why she was delayed getting on the train, but by the time she got there, everybody was sitting at one table. So it was like these booths that were back to back. And so most of the group was sitting at one table. And then it was Portia, then it was Kenya and Candy sitting at the other table. So Portia was like, well, dang, what I'm going to do? So she went ahead and took a breath, said, I'm going to just be nice and be kind and make the best of the situation. So she went and she sat down next to Candy. So it didn't, you know, it wasn't as tense as Portia thought it was going to be. And Kenya and Candy, you know, they were talking to her about being a vegan. And Candy says that it's a good look if she can continue, because what did she say? She was getting chunky, and they all, I think Candy was trying to say that Portia had been putting on weight. You know, so they all laughed about it. And then Kenya tells them about learning how to calm down and, you know, not being an alpha woman now that she's married. And then we had a confessional with Portia where she says that that didn't work for her too well with Cordell, but she hopes it does work for Kenya. You know, basically you shouldn't have to change yourself for the person that you're in a relationship with. So then Nene and them, I think, called Candy to come, well, not come over, because like I say, the booths were back to back. So Candy gets up and she goes and she scoots in on the booth. And remember, so now instead of sitting next to Portia, she's behind Portia. So anyway, Portia and Kenya keep talking. So Kenya, you know, spends all her time telling Portia, you know, about how much she loved her husband and how much her husband loved her. And but just all this randomness about how happy she is and how in love they are and what a great relationship that they have. And I'm just like, Kenya, okay. Congratulations, Kenya, on your marriage, and we're glad that you're happy. So Portia tells Kenya that, you know, she apologized to Candy about what happened, you know, with Phaedra. And Kenya tells her that, you know, she feels that Portia had a good friendship with Candy and Nene, so she should try to understand their points of views and not take things personally. But it's like everybody seems to be missing the fact that Portia has apologized, she's ready to move on, but they just want to keep holding it over her head and just keeping her from moving on. So really, Portia needs to figure out how to move on and let these heifers do whatever they want to do. So then we round the booth to where these other fools are sitting. And so Candy confirms to Nene, Marlo, Sheree, and Cynthia that she is just going along to get along, that she ain't really made up with Portia and she ain't trying to be Portia's friend. And I thought it was so interesting that they were sitting back to back. But we were supposed to believe that Candy couldn't hear Portia telling Kenya that she apologized to Candy, and Portia wasn't supposed to be able to hear Candy saying that she was just being fake and phony for the sake of getting along. Bravo, I need y'all to stop playing with us. So also Nene, as they, as Candy was squatting down for this conversation, Nene asked Sheree if her prison bae is going to come out of prison, tricking, what did she say, tricking stocks like he did before. So Sheree clarifies that it wasn't stocks, it was securities and wire fraud. That's all the same thing. He took other people's money. He took money that did not belong to him, whether it was stocks, securities, or what. He is a thief. And has he been reformed, Sheree, before he comes out and ends up like Apollo back in jail for doing the same thing? So they arrive to Napa and get a tour of the place. And the guy who owned the winery, I don't know what was up with this old white man. I guess he was happy to see the sisters at his vineyard because this man told them that they had to eat some grapes. So he had like the grapes on the vines and he was holding it down in their mouth and they was biting the grapes off. But then when he got to Marlo swallowed that damn vine of grapes like she was swallowing a dick. I was like, what in the world is going on here? And then Kenya was trying to throw shade, telling them that Portia, Marlo, Sheree, and Cynthia, that they was all single. Like, they know they single. They need you to point that out, Kenya. And you single too. Okay. No, you're not. You're married now. You're happily married. So, what else happened after that? Oh, Sheree was in her confessional and she said that after Marlo swallowed them grapes whole, that now we know how she be getting all them designer clothes and handbags and jewelry and everything. So I guess she was basically saying that Marlo sucking penis for a living. So the ladies make some wine by smashing grapes with their bare feet. And I am always interested in knowing, like, do people actually drink the wine after they do the grape smashing thing? Because when my daughter took me to the winery, we went inside and we drank wine. We went out there smashing grapes and all of that stuff. So maybe that's like a part of another tour that they do at different wineries. I don't know. But anyway, by the end of the evening, Kenya heads off to catch a flight because remember she had to go to the grandmother's funeral. And the rest of the ladies, they go to have dinner together and things are going good. Everybody's getting along. And then Marlo ruins the evening by asking if Kenya marriage is real. So like, Marlo, leave it alone. I'm going to try and leave it alone, Marlo, so we need you to try and leave it alone also. So Candy admits that when she was in New York, oh, that was another thing. So remember Candy said she hadn't told anybody about doing the Essence cover. Well, Cynthia blurted it out and told everybody. So Candy admits that when she was in New York, that she and Todd were tempted to visit Mark's restaurant, but she decided not to because she didn't want to upset Kenya. Cynthia defends Kenya and says that she doesn't want to bring Mark around because she's been accused of having fake relationships in the past. And Sheree points out that if that was the case, that would be more reason for Kenya to bring Mark around because then she could shut down all the rumors and everybody would believe her. So Marlo also asks Cynthia and Kenya. No, Marlo asks, or she said that, Cynthia and Kenya aren't really true friends. Because if they were, Cynthia would have met Mark by now. And then she goes on to say that no way her friends wouldn't have met her husband by now. She was married. And I agree with that wholeheartedly, Marlo. So after Marlo says they should play a game to see who really believes that Kenya is married, Cynthia gets up and says that she doesn't want to hear anything negative about Kenya when Kenya is not there to defend herself. I'm like, now how many times you done talked about people behind their back, Cynthia? So Marlo accuses Cynthia of being too sensitive, and Candy says that she understands why Cynthia feels uncomfortable, and Nene says that Cynthia is doing way too much when she is defending Kenya. So in her confessional, Cynthia says that the group gave Kenya drama for not having a man, and now that she has one, they are still being messy. So Kenya's in a no-win situation. So Cynthia, she had left the table, ran off and everything, and so she over there crying, and Nene, goes after her and tells her that it's okay for people to question Kenya's marriage if she won't bring Mark around. Like, she's creating the drama. The ladies aren't creating the drama. So Cynthia admits that Kenya's marriage situation isn't normal, you know, but she's going to remain a true friend and support Kenya, whether Kenya lying or telling the truth. So she rejoins the ladies at the table and says that she doesn't like the fact that she wasn't invited to the wedding, but she can't force Kenya to do anything that she doesn't want to do. And then Marlo, you know, says that she figured that Cynthia was hurt, you know, that she wasn't able to go to the wedding, and that now everybody done, you know, shared how they feel about Kenya wedding. Maybe we can move on. So that was it, guys. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Rate the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.